everyone, this is Michelle Kane with Michelle Kane Photography and Actions, and just this week I released the Half-Light collection, and I just wanted to go through kind of a basic synopsis of what the collection is all about and kind of show you how it's organized and some of the actions and sets that are inside the collection. So Half-Light starts out, if you can see the actions palette here, it starts out with some important notes, and so these are all going to be stop messages that will tell you about the collection, the different sets inside the collection, and give you some basic information on what these sets are all about and maybe some guidelines on how to use them. One of the main things is talking about backing up the actions. I want to just reiterate that right now, that you should always make a backup copy of the actions before you get any further into using them. Make sure that they're saved somewhere so that if your computer crashes, you have a backup copy of them. So you're going to get kind of a basic overall review of what's in the set here in these important notes. And then you're going to move down to the white balance fixers. And the white balance fixers are things that are going to change temperature in your picture. So if you need to maybe make your picture a little bit warmer because you see a lot of blue tones, there's blue to warm. Maybe see a lot of green tones, we can warm it up with green to warm. If you just need overall warmth added into the picture or overall cool down in the picture. And then there's these ones down here called, there's one Yank the Yellow. So if you see a lot of yellow, particularly in skin, you can play Yank the Yellow and paint it just on the skin. Or maybe you need to rid the red out of a certain part of an area on someone's skin or something. So you can play rid the red or minimize magenta. These are all great for specifically, I think, skin and making sure that the color tones in the skin look correct. These white balance fixers generally work the best when you combine them. Sometimes you'll need to do blue to warm, and you'll also need to add some red to it. You can combine them, change the opacities as you play them, and create the perfect color temperature in your images. Then we come down to the contrast section, and in here you've got some general contrast, verve and zest, and you've got some backlit contrast, but which it does not mean that is specifically and only for backlit pictures. But if you do work with backlit pictures like this one, these ones work particularly well. And on this one, this particular picture, I didn't use one of these backlit actions. I moved down further to the Make Rich section. So you can experiment sometimes with your backlit with actions from the backlit and contrast sections and actions from the Make Rich sections. So let's move down to the Make Rich. We've got what are called base actions, and there's 6 in each. There's a Make Rich section and there's a Make Light section. And in the Make Richer section, you've got ones that are basically going to bring out more color, saturation. They work best on images that start out a little bit lighter so that you can add the darkness and you can add the richness into those lighter pictures. They also work well on kind of mid-range exposure pictures. Then you've got the base actions that make images a little bit lighter. So if you start with a darker exposure, most of these actions in this set will work well for that. But they also can work for those mid-range exposures as well. So you'll want to experiment with them and kind of see the overall look that each of these gives to know which is going to work best on your particular pictures. And just a little side note, many of the actions inside of these base actions, Make Richer and Make Lighter, they do have some very fine amount of sharpening in them. So if you're going to play Cascade, and then maybe you're going to move and try Utopia, I always suggest that you turn off the eyeball, the visibility in the layers panel of a previous base action before you play another one, just so you're not doubling up that clarity. Or if you're going to combine a couple of these base actions together, just make sure that the clarity doesn't get to be too much, and you might need to turn it off inside of one of the actions that you play. So moving on from those base actions, we're looking at the Film-esque set. And inside of this set, you've got all kinds of different finishes that can be used alone on an image or topped on top of a base action or a contrast action. And these are going to give you hazes and matte finishes to your pictures. Now, they're all going to look different depending on the picture that you start with. For instance, retrospect makes kind of a bright look, and it will look different, obviously, if you start with a bright exposure picture versus if you start with a very dark exposure picture. So there isn't necessarily a good before and after example that I could show you about what Hush is going to do, because if you start with a dark picture, it's going to look one way, and if you start with a light picture, it'll look another way. So again, you'll need to play each of these and experiment. And to make that simple for you, I've created a play all film-esque action that once you play this, it will run all of these film-esque actions, and it will group them together in a folder. So then you can just go in and turn on and off the visibility to quickly see what that particular action is going to do. Many of these preset to very low opacities, so you might want to experiment with changing the opacities of these to see what an increased or lowered opacity would look like for your pictures. Again, combining these multiple ones on the same image is a great way to customize and create a look all your own. Moving down, we've got the color tone set, and in the color tone set, again, there's a play all action, so if you want to play all of these at once to be able to click them on and off quickly to see what they look like, you can do that. The Botanical Blends collection has many color tones. That's basically what that set is all about, that collection is all about. So I didn't put a lot of color tones inside of the Half Light collection, but there are some base color tones that I feel like are very interesting for creating overall various action or various looks to your pictures, but also to kind of help you along to create that film look in your pictures. Many of these color tones go along with what you would normally see in film photography. Moving down, we have the specialty set, and the specialty set has various actions in it. One would be chroma, and this is going to saturate your pictures. There's information and stop messages to tell you how to use it. Smooth polish smooths out noise and just gives an overall soft feel to a picture. Micro sharp is just a minor sharpening of your image. Then there's film grain, small and large, and into the dark and into the light. So a basic darkening action and a basic lightening action. Then we move down into the light leak section, and this is a very versatile section of actions. The DIY light leaks has extensive information on how to customize it. As you play it, there's a stop message that will explain what to do, and there's also a manual that comes with the action set that goes into great detail about each action, what it does, and kind of how to use it and customize it and what it works best on. So read that, and it will talk about these light leaks in depth. So there's a DIY, which will allow you to add in the light leak colors, each individually: red, magenta, white, yellow, green, and blue, wherever you want them. Or there's these play all light leaks, these individual light leaks that have presets for you. And we're going to look at these in coming videos, how you can customize these and what they do. The play all light leaks will again play each of these light leaks and allow you to turn them on and off in visibility so you can see just quickly what they're going to look like. But there's so much customization that can be used with these light leaks. They're not just necessarily the standard light leak that you think of, which is a splotch of color across the photo. They can be used for hazes, for creating pastel looks, and overall color toning in your pictures. Then finally, we reach the black and white section, and in here is a variety of actions that will give you kind of more of the film look with black and white. So we're talking about matte hazes, matte finishes, things that are a little bit flatter, and things that look a little bit closer to the black and white that you would see out of a film camera. So there's two specific film ones here called Cinematic and Wellheart, and they say film on them. And that just means that they have grain inside of the layers here. So if you want to go ahead and turn the grain off and not see that grainy noise in the picture, you can do that inside the layers palette after you've played them. Sometimes also combining a few of the black and white actions together can be a nice look, or there's always just a black and white layer inside of each action, which you can turn off and use the black and white action as a color action. And it'll give you different matte looks and kind of flatter, a little bit desaturated type of looks. Experiment with those. There's a variety of different looks because honestly, I feel that there's never just one black and white that fits all scenarios and all pictures. So there's a variety in here for you to choose from. If you have a darker picture, some actions might work better than if you start with a lighter picture. A different black and white action might look better. So that's what the Half-Light collection consists of. And if you play in button mode, you're going to see that everything is color coordinated into these different sets and sections within the entire collection, just to kind of help things feel visually clear. As we move into other videos, please stay tuned because I'm going to show you some edits and how quickly and easily we can achieve awesome looks using the Half-Light collection. Thanks for joining me. For more information about the Photoshop actions or to purchase, visit my website, michellekanephotograhy.com. Thanks everyone and have a blessed day.